Have you ever felt invisible? Like your dreams were too big for the people around you to even take seriously? Like every time you spoke about your vision, people looked at you as if you were naive, delusional, or just out of touch with reality? If you've ever felt that way, I know exactly what it's like. There was a time when I was working a dead-end job, making barely $8 an hour. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and every day felt like survival, not progress. I had more dreams than dollars in my bank account. And when I dared to share those dreams, no one believed me. In fact, most people laughed. I remember sitting in my car after yet another rejection from a job interview. The interviewer had smirked when I told him about my goals. He didn't even hide it. He laughed right in my face. And as I sat there in that parking lot, my hands gripping the steering wheel, I thought to myself, maybe he's right. Maybe I am delusional. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. That's the kind of pain nobody prepares you for. The pain of being unseen, the pain of having your dreams dismissed before they even have a chance to take their first breath. The world is full of voices telling you to play small. Teachers telling you to be realistic. Parents urging you to get a safe job. Friends suggesting you stop dreaming so big. And society itself whispering in your ear that people like you, from where you come from, don't make it. And when all those voices combine, it's deafening, it's suffocating. You begin to wonder if maybe they're right. Maybe your dream is impossible. Maybe you should stop trying. But here's the paradox. That exact moment, when nobody believes in you, when every door feels closed, when you feel like the world is blind to your potential, that is where your true power hides. Because when no one else believes in you, you are forced to answer the most important question of your life. Do I believe in myself? See, belief isn't about convincing others. It's not about winning the approval of the crowd. Belief is about what happens when you're alone, when it's just you and your doubts, staring each other in the face. And here's the truth. Nobody believing in you might actually be the greatest gift you'll ever receive. Why? Because when people believe in you too soon, you get comfortable. You relax. You settle. Their support becomes a crutch, and the fire inside you dims. But when nobody believes in you, you get hungry. You get desperate. You start working at hours when the world sleeps. You start sacrificing when others are indulging. You start building resilience that nobody can take away from you. Think about it. Every great story begins with someone being doubted. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Steve Jobs was told he wasn't smart enough to succeed. J.K. Rowling was rejected by publisher after publisher. Their beginnings weren't celebrated. They were ridiculed, dismissed, overlooked. The pain of being unseen is universal. And if you're feeling it right now, I want you to know you are not broken. You are not worthless. You are simply in the most important phase of your journey. The phase where you build belief from within. I spent years trying to get people to see my vision. I wasted so much energy begging them to understand, trying to explain, trying to prove myself. And every time they shook their heads, every time they rolled their eyes, every time they told me to be realistic, my fire dimmed just a little bit more, until one day I realized I don't need them to believe in me. Their doubt isn't my problem. Their disbelief isn't my burden. Their limitations are not my destiny. That realization didn't come easy. It came through tears, through nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if my life would ever change. Through mornings when I wanted to stay in bed because the weight of the world felt too heavy. But slowly I began to see the truth. Every rejection, every laugh, every "you can't do this" was not a brick wall. It was fuel. It was firewood for the flame inside me. The truth is, people project their own fears onto you. When they tell you that you can't do something, they're not really talking about you. They're talking about themselves. They're showing you the ceiling they placed over their own life and asking you to accept it as your own. But you don't have to. You don't have to carry their doubt. You don't have to inherit their fear. You don't have to live inside their limitations. The pain of being unseen, of being doubted, of being dismissed. Yes, it hurts. It cuts deep. But it also clarifies. It forces you to ask yourself, what do I really want? What am I willing to suffer for? What am I willing to sacrifice to prove to myself that I can become who I'm meant to be? That is the hidden gift of being underestimated. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And that is where your journey begins. Not when they clap for you, not when they cheer you on, not when they finally believe, but when you decide that you will move forward even if you walk alone. Because let's face it, there will be days when no one shows up to support you. There will be seasons where it feels like the entire world has turned its back. But if you keep walking, if you keep believing, if you keep fighting, step by painful step, you will discover a strength inside you that you never knew existed. That strength is not given. It is forged in the fire of rejection, of loneliness, of disbelief. And that, my friend, is the pain and the power of being unseen. Doubt. It's a word that can cut deeper than a blade. When someone looks you in the eye and says, you can't do this. When they laugh at your dreams. When they shake their head and dismiss your vision as impossible, it hurts. It feels like rejection, not just of your dream, but of you. But what if I told you that doubt doesn't have to be your prison? What if I told you that doubt could actually become your fuel? See, most people misunderstand doubt. They see it as a wall, a barrier, a reason to quit. But in reality, doubt is simply energy. It's raw, unfiltered energy, and you get to decide what to do with it. You can let it crush you, or you can let it ignite you. I'll never forget the first time someone told me flat out, "You'll never make it." I was pouring my heart into writing, trying to improve every day, but all I heard was criticism. "Your words don't flow. Your content isn't good enough. You'll never be more than average." Those words hit me hard. They made me question everything. Should I even keep writing? Should I just quit? Should I accept that maybe I wasn't cut out for this? But then something changed. I realized their words weren't about me. They were about them. Think about it. People who gave up on their own dreams are often the loudest voices telling you to give up on yours. People who settled for mediocrity are often the quickest to label you unrealistic. People who never tried will always tell you it's impossible. Why? Because your courage exposes their fear. Your determination confronts their complacency. Your dream reminds them of the one they abandoned. So instead of letting their doubt crush me, I began to use it. Every criticism became fuel. Every rejection became motivation. Every "you can't" became a silent challenge that whispered back, "Watch me." And here's what's powerful. When nobody believes in you, you're free. Free from expectations. Free from other people's timelines. Free from their definitions of success. I remember reading about a woman who started writing content online. In the beginning, she was ridiculed, told her writing was slow, her style was awkward, her sentences clumsy. She was fired from a job, doubted by her boss, left with nothing but her determination. But instead of quitting, she kept writing. Day after day, word after word. She studied, she practiced, she improved. Her pay at first, almost nothing. Just a few dollars per article, barely enough to survive. But she didn't stop. She turned every ounce of doubt into fuel. And slowly her writing sharpened. Her voice grew stronger. Her opportunities expanded. Until one day, the same people who doubted her were the ones asking for her advice. That's what happens when you turn doubt into fuel. And here's the secret. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to fight them with words. You don't need to convince them. All you need to do is work in silence and let your results speak so loudly that they can no longer ignore you. Think about a rocket. At launch, the force trying to hold it back, the gravity, is strongest. But instead of stopping, that resistance is exactly what gives the rocket purpose. Without gravity, it wouldn't even need to launch. In the same way, doubt is your gravity. It's what makes your breakthrough meaningful. It's what makes your journey powerful. But here's the catch. You must decide how to handle it. When people doubt you, you have two choices. 1. Absorb it as truth. Believe them. Accept their ceiling as your own. Let their words become your reality. 2. Transform it into fuel. Let their doubt light a fire inside you so strong that nothing can extinguish it. I chose the second option, and if you're listening to this right now, I want you to choose it too. Because here's the reality. People will always doubt what they don't understand. They can't see your vision because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. They don't feel the fire you feel. They don't dream the dream you dream. They don't carry the same purpose in their heart. And that's okay. It's not their job to believe in it. It's yours. Every no you hear is just a redirection. Every door that slams in your face is training you to find a window. Every rejection letter is building the persistence muscle you'll need later when opportunity finally knocks. The truth is, some of the greatest victories in history were fueled by doubt. Thomas Edison was told thousands of times his ideas were failures, until he lit the world. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television, until she became one of the most influential voices alive. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job because he supposedly lacked imagination. Imagine that. The man who built entire worlds. What did all these people have in common? They turned doubt into fuel. So I want you to think about the last time someone doubted you. The last time someone rolled their eyes at your dream. The last time someone said, "You'll never make it." Instead of letting it sink you, I want you to write it down. Keep it. Store it. And every time you feel tired, every time you feel weak, every time you want to quit, read it. Let their words remind you why you started. Let their disbelief remind you of the fire inside you, because here's the most liberating truth. You don't need their belief. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. What you need is hunger. What you need is persistence. What you need is the courage to take their doubt and use it as energy to move forward. So the next time someone doubts you, smile, thank them, because they just handed you fuel for your fire. They just gave you free energy for your journey. They just reminded you that you're walking a path they were too afraid to walk. And that, my friend, is the power of transforming doubt into fuel. There will come a moment in your life when you realize something hard to accept. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to hand you the belief you're waiting for. Nobody is going to wake up one morning, knock on your door, and say, "I believe in your dream more than you do. Let's make it happen." That moment is both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying, because you understand just how alone you are in your vision. Liberating, because you realize you don't need them. What you need is you. Believing in yourself when no one else does is not easy. It is not glamorous. It doesn't happen in one moment of inspiration. It happens slowly, quietly, in the small, unseen battles you fight with your own mind every single day. Let me be honest with you. There were days I didn't even believe in myself. Days when I thought the doubters were right. Days when I wanted to pack it all in and just accept an ordinary life. And if you've ever felt that way, you know how heavy that silence is. But here's what I learned. Self-belief isn't about always feeling confident. It's about choosing faith over doubt, even when doubt screams louder. Think about Michael Jordan. His high school coach cut him from the team. Imagine being told you're not good enough at the very thing you love most. Most people would have quit, but not Jordan. He used that rejection as fuel. But more importantly, he believed in himself long before the world called him a legend. Think about Steve Jobs. He dropped out of college. His teachers didn't see a future in him. Later, he was even fired from the very company he built. Imagine that? Your own creation kicking you out. But Jobs believed in his vision when no one else did. And because of that, he changed the way billions of people live. Or J.K. Rowling. Single mother, living on welfare, writing in coffee shops while publishers rejected her over and over again. The world didn't believe in her. But she believed in her story. And today, her words have touched millions. These stories aren't accidents, they're patterns. They show us one universal truth. The world will doubt you until you make it undeniable. But here's the catch. You can't wait until then to start believing. You have to believe now. You have to believe before the evidence, before the applause, before the results. Because belief is not a reward for success. It's the seed of success. So how do you learn to believe in yourself when nobody else does? First, you must master the conversation in your own head. Every day, you talk to yourself more than anyone else ever will. The question is, what are you saying? Are you repeating their doubts, their criticisms, their fears? Or are you speaking life, encouragement, and possibility into your own mind? I started a simple habit. Every morning, before I touched my phone, before I checked my messages, I wrote down my goals, and then I read them out loud. Not to convince the world, but to remind myself. To feed my own fire. To plant seeds of belief that would grow stronger each day. It felt silly at first. Talking to myself like that? Visualizing a life that seemed impossible. But here's the truth. What you focus on expands. The more you feed your belief, the stronger it gets. The more you rehearse your future in your mind, the more real it becomes to your heart. Second, you must fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. Most people quit because they only love the result. They want the applause, the money, the recognition. But champions, they fall in love with the grind. They find meaning in the early mornings, the late nights, the repetition, the discipline. Believing in yourself isn't about waking up one day and suddenly feeling powerful. It's about showing up every day, especially when you don't feel powerful. It's about saying, I may not be there yet, but I'm closer than I was yesterday. Third, surround yourself with reminders of your strength. When you're in a season where no one believes in you, you need anchors, things that pull you back when your mind drifts into doubt. Maybe it's a journal where you write every small victory. Maybe it's a vision board on your wall. Maybe it's a playlist that fires you up. Maybe it's one trusted mentor or friend who reminds you of who you are when you forget. For me, I kept a small notebook where I wrote every single reason why I could succeed. On my lowest days, I'd read it over and over. And it reminded me that doubt is temporary, but my vision is permanent. Finally, you have to give yourself permission to fail. Because here's the truth, you will fail, you will stumble, you will fall, and when you do, the world will point and say, see, I told you so. But failure is not proof that you can't succeed. Failure is proof that you're trying. And trying means you're still in the fight. When you fall, don't see it as the end. See it as part of the process. Every setback teaches you resilience. Every rejection teaches you persistence. Every failure teaches you something that success never could. And the more you fail, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you believe. And the more you believe, the more unstoppable you become. So if you're in a season right now where no one believes in you, remember this, you don't need them to. You are enough. Your belief is enough. Your persistence is enough. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's lonely. Yes, it's exhausting. But it's also the birthplace of champions. The people who achieve the impossible are not the ones who had the most cheerleaders. They are the ones who learned to cheer for themselves when the stadium was empty. And that, my friend, is how you learn to believe in yourself when no one else does. Rejection, loneliness, Two of the heaviest feelings a human being can carry. And when you're chasing a dream that nobody else understands, you will meet both. At first, rejection feels personal. When someone says no, it feels like they're rejecting not just your idea, but you, your worth, your potential, your very identity. And loneliness, it creeps. And when you look around and realize there's nobody clapping, nobody cheering, nobody even noticing the battles you're fighting in silence. But what if rejection and loneliness weren't punishments? What if they were gifts? I know that sounds strange, but let me explain. When I lost my job, I thought it was the end. I had poured myself into that work, only to be told I wasn't good enough. I walked out of that office with tears in my eyes, my heart heavy with shame. But in hindsight, that rejection was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Because it pushed me toward writing. It forced me to pursue a path I might never have had the courage to chase if everything had gone right. Rejection, as painful as it is, often redirects you to where you were meant to be. It's not a closed door. It's a sign pointing you to another path. The problem is, in the moment, we're too hurt to see it. Think about it. How many times have you looked back at a rejection and thought, thank God that didn't work out? Maybe it was a job that would have trapped you. Maybe it was a relationship that would have broken you. Maybe it was an opportunity that looked good on the outside but would have crushed your spirit on the inside. Rejection saves you from what isn't yours so that you can find what is. And then there's loneliness. Oh, loneliness. It cuts deep. You scroll through your phone. You see others surrounded by friends, supported, celebrated, while you sit alone with your doubts and your dreams. And it hurts. But here's what loneliness taught me. When no one else is around, you discover whether you can stand with yourself. Most people run from loneliness. They fill the silence with noise, with distractions, with meaningless connections. But if you learn to embrace it, loneliness becomes a teacher. It teaches you self-reliance. It teaches you patience. It teaches you how to enjoy your own company. There's a strange power in walking alone. Because when you walk alone, you learn the sound of your own voice. You learn the rhythm of your own heart. You learn to trust your own steps. And later, when people finally join you, you're not desperate for their approval. You're already whole. Some of the greatest transformations in history happened in solitude. Writers crafting their first books in small, dimly lit rooms. Innovators sketching ideas no one believed in. Athletes training in empty gyms while the world slept. They didn't need a crowd. They didn't need applause. They needed the silence. Because silence is where you hear the whispers of your destiny. So how do we reframe rejection and loneliness? First, see rejection not as failure but as feedback. It's not the world saying, you're worthless. It's the world saying, not this way, not this time. Try again. Every rejection sharpens you. Every no teaches you resilience. Every closed door makes you more creative in finding another way. Second, see loneliness not as emptiness, but as space. Space to grow. Space to reflect. Space to build. The tree doesn't grow tall in the shadow of another. It grows when it has the space to reach toward the sun. When you are rejected, thank life for protecting you from something that wasn't yours. When you are lonely, thank life for giving you the space to discover yourself. I remember reading about a young writer who faced endless rejection letters from publishers. Every envelope that came back marked unaccepted felt like a dagger. But instead of quitting, she kept writing. Instead of seeing rejection as the end, she saw it as training. Years later, her books touched millions. I also remember a time when I had no one cheering for me. Friends moved on, family didn't understand, colleagues doubted me. I ate alone, worked alone, dreamed alone, and at first it felt like punishment. But over time, I realized solitude was my forge, It was in that silence that I developed my discipline, my clarity, my strength. Rejection and loneliness will either break you or build you. It depends on the story you tell yourself. If you see them as signs that you're unworthy, they will crush you. But if you see them as tools shaping you into who you're meant to be, they will empower you. So the next time you face rejection, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Thank you for the redirection." The next time you feel loneliness, don't say, "I'm abandoned." Say, "This is my season to grow." Because rejection is not the end, it's a new beginning. And loneliness is not a void, it's an invitation to discover your own strength. When you embrace both, you stop fearing them. And when you stop fearing them, you become unstoppable. There comes a point in every journey where you realize something profound. You've survived every rejection. You've endured every season of loneliness. You've carried the weight of every doubt. And you're still here. That's not weakness. That's not luck. That's proof of your strength. Proof that you are capable of more than the world ever gave you credit for. See, the world loves to clap once you've already made it. They love the finished product, the victory story, the overnight success. But what they don't see, what they will never see, are the countless nights you stayed up grinding in silence. The mornings you dragged yourself out of bed when your body begged for rest. The tears you wiped away when no one else was watching. That's the real story. That's the story of becoming unstoppable. Unstoppable doesn't mean you never feel fear. It doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It doesn't mean you never stumble. No, unstoppable means you keep moving anyway. You feel the fear, but you take the step. You hear the doubt, but you silence it with action. You fall down, but you get back up. Again and again and again. That's what makes you unstoppable. And here's the truth, you don't need a crowd to cheer for you. You don't need the approval of your parents, your friends, or society. You don't even need everyone to understand your vision. What you need is you, your belief, your persistence, your fire. When nobody believes in you, that is not a disadvantage, it's freedom. Freedom to build your dream your way. Freedom to walk your path without the pressure of other people's expectations. Freedom to create something so undeniable that eventually they can't help but notice. And when they finally do notice, when they finally ask, "How did you do it?" you'll smile. Because you'll know the truth. You'll know that their belief was never required. Their support was never necessary. Their approval was never essential. The only thing that mattered was your willingness to keep going when nobody else did. Let them doubt. Let them laugh. Let them whisper behind your back. While they're busy talking, you'll be busy building. While they're busy disbelieving, you'll be busy becoming. While they're busy waiting for proof, you'll be busy creating it. Because unstoppable people don't wait for permission. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for everyone to believe in them. They move now. They act now. They build now. And here's the beautiful part. Once you build that unshakable belief in yourself, once you commit to moving forward no matter what, you become contagious. People start to feel your energy. They start to see your results. They start to believe, not because you begged them to, but because you showed them what was possible. But by then, something magical happens. You no longer need their belief. You no longer crave their approval. You're no longer driven by proving them wrong. You're driven by proving yourself right. That's true freedom. That's true power. That's what it means to be unstoppable. So if you're listening to this right now, wondering if you're capable, if you're worthy, if you can really do it, I want you to hear me clearly. Yes, you can. Not because it will be easy. Not because the road will be smooth, not because everyone will suddenly support you, but because you have within you everything you need. You have resilience, you have persistence, you have a fire that no one else can extinguish. And every doubt, every rejection, every lonely night, that's not proof you should quit. That's proof you're on the right path. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop searching for someone else to believe in you. Your time is now, your moment is here, your opportunity is today. Be the one who didn't quit, be the one who kept moving, be the one who turned doubt into fuel, rejection into redirection, loneliness into strength. Be the one who believed when nobody else did, because when you do, you'll wake up one day and realize you're no longer chasing dreams, you're living them. And the best part, you'll know deep in your soul that you did it not because they believed in you, but because you believed in yourself. That is the essence of becoming unstoppable. So go prove to yourself what you've always known deep down. Go build the life that only you can see. Go chase the dream that only you can feel. And while they're still busy doubting, you'll already be living the impossible.